Albert Einstein, Thomas Jefferson, Mozart, they all had lots of imagination.
They had Asperger's?
Probably.
Hugh, your character has Asperger's syndrome. Were you familiar with this condition at all, or what research did you have to do?
No, I was totally unfamiliar with this syndrome condition. So I had to do a lot of research, and part of that was just, you know, collecting data, really. I mean, there's a lot of information to absorb, a lot of very specific information, and it doesn't go in the first time. You know, you have to kind of keep force-feeding yourself until it becomes second nature, I suppose. And then at the same time, as an actor, you're looking for a way to actually shape a performance and to give yourself something, give something for your imagination to work on, and go back to the script and go back to the script. And so it was quite an elaborate process.
Okay. Let's see, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and Adam is from another planet, or on his own planet, actually. Why do you think Adam and Beth were attracted to each other? What's the attraction there?
Oh, he's pretty cute.
I think initially it's that simple. I mean, you know, he's there she moves into his apartment building.
Hi, neighbor.
There are new images of Saturn from the Cassini project.
He's being encouraged by his friend Harlan to kind of make contact, and you know, she moves in and she's cute, and so he tries his best.
Oh, well, I have books and telescopes, star charts. You could borrow some stuff, and we could go out look at sky tonight.
Maybe sometime, sure.
But at a certain point that turns into something else, obviously, and partially I think it's her curiosity about him, that she's prepared after a while to try and see past his oddities and have a bit of curiosity about him. And but I think there's a kind of surprisingly there's a shared sense of humor as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they definitely have a chemistry in that sense. Yeah, they manage to laugh together and play together, you know, and I think she brings that out of him a lot of the time, and he's a great catch in many ways. It's just, yeah, it's just obviously, you know, ends in this sort of
an acquired taste, perhaps.
Yeah.
There are a lot of comical scenes in the movie. Do you guys have any favorites?
I love the scene at the Cherry Lane Theatre when we surprise, well, when Adam and I go to the theatre and our parents are there, and my dad, who's, you know, this played Peter Gallagher, who does a wonderful job, sort of overbearing, larger-than-life kind of Jewish father, and he, Adam gets terrified and starts listing off all the history of the Cherry Lane Theatre, and it's very funny and very...
It's not a dream date.
No, and just the kind of horror on their faces is that what just doesn't stop. It's just this train smashing into a wall.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, I always like, there's a line when, you know, they have an argument and she comes down the next day and gives him a hug and says, you know, I'm sorry, and then there's a pause and she says, well, aren't you going to apologize? And he says, you just said it was your fault. And I often feel like that, you know, there's a kind of obligation for the shared apologies, but something I guess I loved having the opportunity to do with the character is he says those things that basically we just don't say normally. People,
right.
We know that's not a smart thing to say, but he says it anyway.
Do you guys relate to your characters at all?
Well, obviously, I think for you it's
not so. You know, it's a funny. I think that's a phrase that's used. In a way, I guess you could say your job as an actor is to find some way to relate to the character. If you haven't found that, then you can't really be doing a good job. But that doesn't mean to say that you start off that way. I mean,
right.
I think that I have much less in common with Adam than I do actually share with him.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to, no, you go ahead.
So there's a lot of factual information that Adam blurts out. Did you guys learn anything from him about astronomy or the telescope?
Yeah, no, I did, absolutely.
Yeah, what did you learn?
Well, I learned a lot about the Cherry Lane Theatre. Samuel Beckett was premiered there several times in the 60s, I think it was.
I didn't really learn anything. I felt like I had enough other stuff to learn that in order to try and be as you know, to have his expertise in space would have been just forget about it. It would have been impossible. But a lot of it was just the. People often ask actors, you know, how do you learn all those lines? And usually, actually, it's much more easy than it appears. But in this case, there's such a flow of information that comes out of him, just facts and figures with no real, necessarily any proper thread running through them. And that just learning those lines was a real...
I agree. That was a challenge for you.
But anyway.
And lastly, what are you guys working on next?
I'm doing a film called Get Him to the Greek, which is the sequel to Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's a
Oh,
comedy
okay.
with Russell Brand and Jonah Hill and Puff Daddy.
Another comedy, okay.
Yeah,
Did
I
you?
have a very small role in that. Yes. And
But you're still doing Damages,
yeah, we
right?
have season 3 starting in September.
Okay.
So, and Hugh just finished a film.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Playing the coach.
Oh yeah, last year. That's
Yeah,
true.
so-
But I don't know what I'm doing next.
Okay,
Wait to see. We'll wait
Okay.
for this first.
perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you
known
so
for
much.
directing a lot of plays. So why make this into a feature rather than do it as a play?
Possibly because I live in Los Angeles now. I mean, that's a little glib, but and I've been interested in film for a long time. But yes, I worked in the theater for many years, and had directed one other film that kind of came out of a play that I had directed about 10 years ago. But having been here for the last 7 years and doing some television, I think I started thinking more visually and thinking more in cinematic terms, and this and I wanted the opportunity to direct another movie because I felt like I knew more now and could probably do a better job.
Okay.
So when this story came into my head, it was always kind of it was always for film.
Do you have any other movies coming up that you're working on or plays?
I have a script that I'm working on, which I don't know when that is going to happen, and then there.
What's it
then
about?
It's actually it's a little bit of a great white whale of a movie. It's set in Chicago in the 1880s, and it's about the first bombing on U.S. soil actually, and the reaction to that. But again, it was a character. It's a real life character who lived back then, who was that sort of hooked me, and I became sort of passionate about him and got more and more interested. And so now I have this. Now I don't quite have the script yet. I'm working on the script.
Some chocolate.
I'm not Forrest Gump, you know.
Of course not. I didn't even... Was that a joke? Are you joking?
I can't joke.